Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Can everyone hear me okay? I see some nods. And I will be unmuting everyone a little bit later, but I appreciate the video that I do see. It makes me happy to see some faces. So if you don't have your video on, I'd love for you to keep your video on. You don't have to, awesome, I see some people turning on their video. You don't have to speak yet, don't worry, but there is going to be a lot of time for engagement. Now I am going to give people another couple minutes to come on in. So if you guys would like to introduce yourself in the chat, say what city you're in right now, that would be wonderful. If you'd like to unmute and share what brings you here today, I'd love to hear some voices other than mine right at the start. So I see a couple people have their video on. Does anyone feel confident enough to share a little bit about what brings them here today?
Hi there, I'm Dr. Linda Leong.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you? We've never met, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm in Lake Forest, Illinois, and I specialize in executive and leadership coaching, and confidence is one of my favorite topics.
Do you have one tidbit of advice as a coach on the topic of confidence to launch us?
Confidence is an inner game. A lot of people make it an outer game, how your boss treats you, how it's an inner game. It's all about you.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that today. And I hope to hear your voice a little bit more because, you know, I may have some expertise in this field, but everyone on this call is an expert in their own levels of confidence. And I'm sure we also have a lot of experts in this field as well, because I know some people that are joining. So thank you, Linda, very much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Would someone else like to speak up for a moment and then we'll get started? See, we have some people from all over the US, Canada, a couple people from Canada. So there may come a time today where I'm calling on people. So it might help to get a little bit of those jitters and nerves out now. If you'd like to share, I'd like one more person to share what brings them here today.
I'll share. My name is Jay White from New York City.
What up, Jay?
How you doing? Thank you for hosting this. This is going to be really, hopefully, insightful.
Well, this is it. I'm ending it after this, after you share it.
You know, my main purpose for being here is to, you know, work on that sort of inner voice that I know I need to have a more consistent relationship with. I'd like to find the methods to better express my thoughts, especially in the environment that I'm in. I'm in media. I have aspirations that, you know, are directorial. So, you know, it's an interesting, I mean, art is inherently vulnerable. So there's an inherent, I guess, risk that you just have to take by virtue of making it. So there's an element of internal trust that I'm looking to really work on.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. It's a really, really important topic that we're going to be talking about today. And I love how you directly connected it to your professional pursuits and what it means for your own success in that area. And you see the confidence has connectivity with every single area of our life. And sometimes we can be really confident in one area and lack confidence in another area for very little actual like reasons that relate to logic. I would love to take a quick poll of everybody here and just 3 questions to kind of get a little bit of a barometer on where everybody stands in relationship to their perception of confidence, and also to hear kind of what's going on this year as well, because this year was a little bit of a doozy. So you should see a poll pop up on your screen. There are 3 questions. The first one is how this year has impacted your levels of confidence. The second one is asking you to rate how important you believe confidence is to your success. And the third one is a true or false question. So I'll wait till most people have submitted their votes. And then I'll share those results as well. A little over half have voted. Let me know in the chat as well if you can't see the poll. Try to troubleshoot. I know there are usually a little bit of technical difficulties in virtual events. It's not letting me submit from Desmond.
Yes, that's me.
Hey, Desmond.
How are you?
Do you want to share your answers? and then I'll share the whole poll with everybody.
Uh,
How has this year impacted your levels of confidence?
just because of the unknown of the COVID issues and all of the political strife and pulling apart and separation of the left and the right, it's just decreased it slightly.
Yeah. Seems to be along with some of the other people on this call. Some people have actually said that it slightly increased, extremely increased, a couple people. And it's interesting how different events can impact people in such different ways. And let's jump to the last question. True or false? If you could find a way to boost your confidence, Desmond, do you think you'd be more likely to accomplish your goals and be happier overall?
I think it would make it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that's why everyone's here today. It's to say that, like, let's find some actionable steps to increase our confidence, to create unshakable confidence, and to strengthen our inner champion. So to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Dr. Benjamin Ritter. I'm the founder of LFY Consulting, a leadership and empowerment coach, really working with individuals to help them create a career that they love. I've spoken across the nation. I've spoken globally, virtually though, and I'm also a regional learning manager at YPO. And overall, I work with clients that have struggles with confidence. Actually, one of the first things we focus on is their inner champion and the beliefs that they're telling themselves. A lot of times people have achieved a ton of success, but don't feel successful. I think we probably can all relate if we're on this call. I mean, I can relate to that. I sometimes also struggle with my own self-doubt and levels of confidence, but I will tell you, it is nowhere near what it used to be. And my journey, like through learning how to become more self-confident, has led me to where we are today. And some people on this call know me, so you've heard this story before, but I'd like to just speak a little bit to it right now. And I will answer the questions in the chat as well as at the end. Just for someone, Dr. Linda, YPO is a membership organization for young CEOs. That's global as well. I'm more than happy to chat about it in the future too. It's a pretty neat nonprofit. So when I was younger in undergrad, I had some severe issues with self-confidence, and it impacted my relationships, my love life, my social relationships, how I viewed myself. I actually had some pretty severe mental and physical issues because of my lack of confidence. And also I wanted to be a professional soccer player. So you can imagine how not feeling good enough and not, really beating yourself up could affect performance. And so that's what actually got me started really examining what confidence can do for an individual, for their success, for their progress. I remember I found this book called Mind Gym, and I highly recommend it if anyone ever played sports in their youth and is trying to learn more about confidence. It really resonated with me, and I still have 2 copies today. It's kind of like a little pocketbook on stories of athletes and why confidence is important. But I remember when I finally became confident enough to share with my coach that my mind was holding me back, like severely. Like I would get on the field and just play horribly. I actually had the confidence to tell everyone. We were in like a huddle at the end of practice, and the coach was like, "What's going on with everyone? Why is everyone struggling?" And I said, Coach, my mind is holding me back. I feel it. It's getting in the way. And he says verbatim, I'm not your therapist. And this idea that like confidence is only a topic that we can discuss through therapy, I think is holding a lot of people back. And I hope that we can have these conversations about confidence with our friends, with our partners, with strangers, even in workshops like this, because if I could have gotten a handle on my levels of self-confidence in college, I might not be here in front of you today. I might be a professional soccer player. I would not have dove into the field of personal and professional development, because when I realized that my mind was holding me back, that's when I decided to actually start working on my mind myself. I dove into everything related to personal and professional development, and I started challenging myself. I started taking action. I started living outside of myself and just seeking experiences that would challenge me. I started being more social, going to shows, which I never did. I ended up finding random like modeling gigs, even though I never considered myself to be a model. I joined up as a brand ambassador, so forcing myself to socially interact with strangers. I dressed up in costumes. I went actually, this zombie picture was me running around Lincoln Park at like midnight and 1 a.m., fake scaring people with red contacts, being pulled by a leash from people that were dressed up as nurses, and getting paid for it. And this is something I never would have imagined myself doing if I didn't decide to live outside my mind, to stop judging myself, and just live basically for experiences and to learn and grow. That led into becoming a bartender, becoming a mixologist. I got on a reality show because of it. It was a bucket list item for me to just gain more confidence and just really let go of every doubt that I had about myself. I remember too, I was dating someone that really wanted to see Lady Gaga at Lollapalooza. And, you know, before it would have been like, okay, maybe let's buy tickets somehow as a kid without a lot of money. My like new voice in my head that was just like, find a way to do anything you want to do, challenge yourself, get new experiences, decided to volunteer for Lollapalooza, ended up getting selected for a special green market area because of my public health background. I then ended up working for Lala for the next 5 years, becoming a production assistant and having experiences I never would have dreamed of, going backstage, meeting artists, riding around in the golf carts. Like, my decision to let go of my self-doubt and to break out of the stories I was telling myself just helped me develop and grow into the person that I am today. Now, I'm not a career bartender. I'm not a brand ambassador that's gonna dress up in costumes. I don't always want to go to shows. Like, I'm the guy that wants to sit behind the velvet rope now. I can't imagine being in that crowd. But I had the experiences because I decided to just be a little bit more confident in my life. This also led me to create a ton of different companies and have a ton of different side jobs and experiences and be featured across different media outlets, which I never would have had the chance to do if I didn't decide to just take action. Because confidence also has this lovely consequence of helping you be more creative, be more innovative, be more present, say yes to new opportunities. And I'm more than happy to talk about any of these endeavors that were very interesting parts of my life, but I want to really move forward and get into some of the content. I just would have to say that one of those bartending jobs actually led me to my first full-time gig, because I ended up meeting someone across the bar who got my friend a job at a hospital, who then ended up interviewing me at the hospital and getting me a full-time job. So you never know what a decision to just have a little bit more confidence and put yourself out there can do for your life. So I ask everyone, if you take anything away from that just little story, it's to step out of your mind and just be a little present today. We all have doubts. We're all here because we're probably in our head just a little bit too much. And so I ask you, just please, for today, step out of your mind, be present in this workshop, and challenge yourself a little bit. You know, when I ask, hey, does anyone have anything to share? Unmute, share something. We don't know you. We're not going to judge you, I promise. And that will totally lead to unexpected growth. So to that point, please keep your video on. Please mute when you're not speaking. Please participate. and most of all, respect each other. We are all here to learn, we are all here to grow, and we are here to connect. If anyone says something that you resonate with, send a message in the chat, connect with them offline, look them up on LinkedIn, keep these relationships going. One of the best things that has really developed from the events that I'm hosting virtually and in person, non-COVID, are the relationships that get built from people sharing their stories, being open, and actually deciding to take a step to connect offline or online right now, right? Have a virtual coffee. So today we are going to just talk about confidence. We have some exercises to understand your confidence, and then I'm going to stick around and answer any questions that you have. Before we dive in, any questions before we get started? Any issues with some of the rules? Like, if you don't want to respect people, I highly recommend you sign off because we are all about respect. Hopefully y'all are confident in talking about confidence right now. Okay, so let's just get on the same page and talk about what confidence is and what a lack of confidence is. Just generally, confidence is a self-assurance or appreciation of your abilities, your beliefs, or your qualities. And the opposite, a lack of confidence, is just a criticism of those areas. I'd like to ask everyone on the call if they'd like to share, what confidence feels like to them. So you can write it in the chat, you can unmute, and feel free just to jump in. I see being comfortable in your own skin, being free, feeling like you're in control and in the zone, empowered, safe. I think safety is huge. Secure enough with yourself to take risks. I see freedom, not caring what other people think. Confidence is for sure this ability to just not care about other people's judgment, to be so sure of yourself that it doesn't matter what other people think. Power, showing up to life fully. Okay, I love that. I love power. Like, that makes me feel powerful right now. Motivated, energized, okay, feeling good. Good enough to follow through. So confidence can help you take action. Okay, being able to express yourself. And I think, like, physiologically, you feel, and someone's hinted at, you feel energized. You may feel more motivated. You feel like you belong. I think that's a huge part. You feel like you belong anywhere. And the opposite end of the spectrum, a lack of confidence, what does that feel like to everybody? I think it feels almost like I'm sick to my stomach. Like I'm not good enough, like I don't belong, like I have to prove myself to other people, and deflating. Lonely, yeah, lonely, hiding, doubt, embarrassing, weighed down. Bottom of the barrel. And I think there can be different levels of confidence and a lack of confidence, where you can feel just like slightly out of place, but you can push through it. Or sometimes you can feel so rejected, especially in a social situation, where you just go outside and like wait out like on the other, like avoiding people, and sometimes even just leaving. Lethargic, powerless. Yeah, a lack of confidence can truly lead to procrastination. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment. Those are huge reasons why we procrastinate in life. Avoidance. Okay, so this is all really important, and thank you for everyone. Remember these emotions. They're going to be really critical to us figuring out how to instill greater confidence in our life. But I was wondering about this, preparing for this workshop. And is, what is the purpose of confidence? So if you had to just pick a purpose out of thin air, something that popped up top of mind, what would you say is the purpose of confidence? Can I get someone's voice on this one? Would someone like to unmute? Feel free to also use the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, hi Lisa.
Some ways I think it's like productivity. Like if you have confidence, you can make things happen. You can make an impact. You can make a difference. Like if you've got confidence, then you can do more. You can empower, and you can empower other people and influence other people.
So the purpose of confidence is to take greater action, to be more productive. Awesome.
I think you feel more accomplished.
Yeah. Okay. So it's feeling more accomplished. So would you say the purpose there then is your own feelings?
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Some people agree. To achieve a goal, to live fully, avoidance. Okay. Oh no, that's from the last one. Anyone else like to add? So I've actually had this conversation with a few people before the workshop, and a lot of the answers I got were like productivity, taking action, and I have to say, a lack of confidence has really helped, been a good motivator for that too for me. Acting from fear. I don't know about you, but how many people on this call, respond to a late night email at work because of a fear for losing their job? And so I think actions can a lot of times be caused from a negative emotion. And what I kind of came up with or decided on was the purpose of confidence, we hinted at this too, is that it just makes you feel good. It makes you feel better about your life. Because I've even, I wouldn't say that you have to take action. I wouldn't say that you have to be, motivated to accomplish things. Like, yes, like I'm achievement oriented. So I love to take action towards things. But confidence isn't the reason why I actually do that. It's because it's one of my values. Confidence just helps me feel good in that process, because I could either be motivated by fear, by like I'm not good enough, or I could be motivated by the sense that I am good enough, and this is what I just want to spend my time on. So honestly, when we think about confidence, and Lisa, you're right, it does sound so simple. Can we think of it a little bit more simply? To just say like, I just want to feel a little bit better in life, and I want to choose to feel a little bit better. And that's the purpose of confidence. And if I feel better, maybe I'll decide to take more action because maybe that's valuable to me, but maybe I won't. And I'd also like to add here, the purpose of like a lack of confidence is actually to keep you safe. We've developed these stories in our life that maybe, don't take a risk, or don't take action, or stay at this job. And those are, those feelings are really important because for some reason along the way, those feelings or that lack of confidence has led you to feel that you're more safe in your life, that you're secure. So just think about that for a little bit. Let that sink in. Because next I want to talk about where we sometimes source confidence from and how that could actually not help us. So confidence is not sustainable if it's based on achievements. And a lot of times people think that if I achieve something, if I accomplish something, and this is where this idea of like productivity and action come from, like I'll be more confident. And we all know that's not true. A lot of us have been promoted and still not been confident. If you think about celebrities that always, that complain about being lonely, or that entrepreneur that has achieved incredible success but doesn't actually feel successful. So we know that achievement-oriented confidence, I will be confident when, can be pretty dangerous. We also know that external validation, this is kind of related to achievement, but external validation, like recognition from other people, we sometimes use that for confidence, but that can also be self-defeating. Like, for example, dating other people or being in a relationship. It doesn't always make you feel more loved. It doesn't always help you feel more confident in the relationship. And just like the previous examples with work, getting a promotion doesn't always mean that you feel more confident in your job. And actually, I'd say sometimes it makes you feel less confident You know, a lot of my clients were recently promoted into leadership positions and don't feel like they actually deserve it. Okay, so it's not achievement, it's not external validation. And we talked about this before, this fear of judgment. A lot of times we use comparison to source our confidence. We say, oh, look at this person, I'm better. But there's always going to be someone better or worse. And judging someone usually leads to you judging yourself, which then tends to lead to you identifying areas that you need to improve on, deficiencies. And this idea of using comparison to source confidence from actually tends to lead to a loss of motivation and procrastination, because you're saying, well, I'm not this person, I can't accomplish that. I'm not good enough. And so those three areas are really dangerous places to source confidence from. And I'd reflect and say, if you are using achievement or validation or comparison to feel confident, then you are you're in a very dangerous state and dangerous cycle. And so if those areas are not great sources of confidence, what is? And so I like to say that confidence is four main things. The first thing I like to talk about is feeling. Confidence is a feeling. And we discussed this in the beginning when we were listing all those different feelings out. So I'd love for you all to chime in again and help us come to a conclusion. How do you actually create a feeling? You know, we talked about feeling motivated and energized and free. So what can you do in your life to help you feel more confident? Feel free to use the chat, unmute.
I think increasing knowledge and learning makes me feel more confident.
What's something, if you don't mind sharing, that you've learned recently?
Oh goodness. It's finding answers or finding solutions within my own position. I'm a new manager, and I feel with that comes a lot of the unknowns of how to handle other employees or performance issues. And I think going through a process or seeing something to fruition builds my confidence that I can get through it, and I can do it better next time, and I can grow.
It's that feeling of accomplishment and skill and expertise. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Thank you, Liz. Reading some of the comments, we have confidence comes from self-acceptance. Remember a snapshot in time when you felt that way. I love that. So our feelings are connected to our memories. And if we can remember a time when we felt a certain way, we're more likely to be able to invoke that into our current state. So yes, you could sit back, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Actually, let's all do that. Let's all sit back and close our eyes for a second. Take a deep breath in. Release. Now think of a time when you were the most confident. You were energized, you were motivated, you felt free, you felt like you belonged. And really picture that. Like, make it vivid. See the colors. See the details of that image. Take a second and just sniff. Like, take a smell. What is that? What was going on then? Can you smell it? And then see the texture. What does that memory feel like? And what are you hearing? What was going on then? What sounds are going on? Now really enlarge that memory in your mind. And as it enlarges, feel it just kind of enclose on you, almost like a second skin. Now open your eyes. Does anyone feel just a little bit more confident? Do you feel like you're living in that state, in that moment? And you may be laughing. This may be kind of new, but you can actually recreate emotions. You own your feelings. So think about what are 3 to 5 memories in my life where I was the most confident? How can I just anchor those to kind of something that you can think about in times where you're not feeling as confident. So that's one really great way to instill feelings into your life. I'd also suggest, if there's a physiological response, like you feel lighter when you are more confident, then all you have to do in certain situations, even easier than thinking about a memory, is to just start feeling lighter, move a little bit, go on your tippy toes, and all of a sudden you will start actually feeling more confident. So I like to also say that feeling is a belief. So how do you create or instill a belief? And I'd love for you all to share some of your thoughts in the comments. For myself, I am a big believer in affirmations for instilling beliefs. Beliefs are really created by intentions, setting intentions through your daily life, fully accepting that you are a certain way. Confidence for sure relates to how you define yourself. The stories that you've been telling yourself, like, I can't do this, I can't be a coach, I can't get this VP position, that person's not going to love me. Those are all beliefs. And so you've accepted those beliefs. If you lack confidence in a certain area, you've accepted negative beliefs about yourself, limiting beliefs about yourself. And so instilling new beliefs require you to fully accept that you are a certain person already. And so you can write little affirmations on Post-it notes, like I have some here right next to the computer, like return love with love is one of mine to help me be more lovable. I have them on my fridge. I have them in my shower. So I'm a firm believer in using affirmations and fully accepting your identity. You can actually use future visioning, where you just envision yourself a certain way. Visualization is very powerful in instilling beliefs. Judy says, I think I am like the childhood train, very much. And this is different than actually like acting as if, because acting as if is still not a belief. So I'd say, how can you tell yourself you are a certain way and then reinforce that with actions? So I just want to use a coach example. I am a coach. So then what you do, find a friend to coach or put something out on social media that you're coaching. So beliefs are solidified, are usually helped with and are solidified by also action. So by affirmation and by action. Confidence is also a skill, and this was hinted at before. So how do you build and strengthen a skill? You study. It's that simple. You find time to set the intention in your life to study. In preparation for this workshop, for the last couple of days, all I did was listen to podcasts about confidence and read articles about confidence. Are you surrounding yourself and are you being intentional about what you want to build confidence in? Or are you veering away from it, not taking action because of a fear of failure or an idea of risk or of judgment? And so what does it take to just read a book about what you want to build confidence in, or to listen to a podcast, listen to an audiobook? And all these three areas are all about setting an intention to build confidence in an area of your life that you want to build confidence. And remember, you want this. And the last and final area that I believe confidence is a commitment. It's a commitment that you are going to be a certain way in your life moving forward. It's a commitment to say that the stories I've been telling myself about myself are not the stories I want to accept about myself. Because who you were isn't who you want to be. So can you make a commitment to work towards this person? And a commitment can encompass beliefs and affirmations and skills and setting intention towards studying and deciding that when you're not feeling confident, I'm going to feel a certain way in my life. I'm going to invoke a certain feeling. And so a commitment is a dedication that you're going to commit time to this area of your life. And you notice none of this involves other people. And so one of the greatest things we're afraid of when it comes to building confidence is telling other people, being with other people. So think, can you do these things on your own? Yes. So you can build confidence without even having to put yourself at quote unquote risk. Okay, so to summarize a little bit about the confidence mindset, confidence requires an acceptance that you are always as good as you can be at any moment in time. Think about that. Who you are right this second is more than good enough. You can't change it. And this second, you can't change it. And this second, you can't change it. And yesterday, you couldn't change that person. You can work towards tomorrow. You can work towards next week or next year. But to be fully confident, you need to have an acceptance of who you are. That's all confidence is. I am okay with who I am today. I am happy with who I am today. I'm not going to judge myself, and I'm also not going to judge other people. And to ensure that you can actually accept who you are today, it requires, well, it's helpful. I wouldn't say requires, it's helpful that you know who you are and what you care about. When you know what you care about, when you know your values, and they can be anything, because I'm not judging. So when you know your values and what you stand for, that allows you to walk into a room and have someone judge you. Because then you can look to them and say, well, you don't know who I am. No one knows who I am better than me. And you accept that. You accept yourself. And that will propel your confidence forward. It will exponentially increase it if you can define who you are right now. If that person is, I don't know who I am, that's also a definition. Can you accept that? I accept the fact that I have no freaking idea who I am right now, but I accept that I'm on a journey to go find out what that is and who that is. And because you accept who you are in every single moment, you also understand that everything is progress. And so true confidence also requires this idea that failure means progress, success means progress. Sometimes even stagnation, just chilling out and relaxing is progress, because that's what we need. And so we don't judge our moments for it could have been better. We actually accept each of our moments for adding value to our life and to our story. So I know that's a lot to take in. And before we get to the second portion, which we're actually going to break out and engage and try some exercises, I'd love for some people just to share some of their overall thoughts. What's sticking top of mind? You can use the chat box, you can unmute. And we'll just take a few minutes.
I'd like to share.
Yeah, please, Hazel.
So I never thought of confidence as a commitment. So when you were talking about that, it was just like, that's interesting. And it just gave me a new way to think about confidence for myself. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, everything means progress, even failure. Would anyone else like to share? I really do appreciate everyone that has shared so far.
I'll share.
Hi, Philip. Thank
Hey,
you.
how are you doing, Doc? I mean, in terms of what we went over so far, it's kind of, it goes and brings it back to within yourself and trying to look at, I think the thing that talking about affirmations, which is something that you mentioned in other chats, and also thinking about moments in your life where you've had that great feeling, the best confidence, the most confidence, even though it may be fleeting, being able to remember those moments and kind of either write them down or have them somewhere so that you know what that feeling was like, so that you can kind of go back in a recall and use that so that you know that it's possible. I think that's really it, because you had that feeling one time, it means it's possible to happen again. Doesn't it? Just because you aren't feeling that at the moment doesn't mean it's not, can't happen.
And I love that you brought that up, because it's also, feelings aren't truth. Feelings are feelings based on our experiences and stories. So we don't have to trust our feelings, and we can actually create our feelings, which is so like wonderful to think about in so many ways, because that means, even though it can be very difficult at times, that we don't actually have to say, even if we don't feel confident, we don't have to say, I'm not good enough, or I don't belong here. We can actually say, I don't feel confident. Okay, great. And just accept that you feel that way for a moment. So I'd love for all of us to go over kind of the next portion. Thank you so much for sharing, by the way, everybody. And just in honor of everyone's time, we're going to move forwards into the exercise portion of today's workshop. So we are going to be breaking out into separate groups. I'd love for everyone to introduce yourself. You've already said your name and city, but you can do it again. And I'd love for you all to share what you care deeply about and are currently working on. And everyone will actually get this file right now. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Let's see. So everyone should see the Unshakable confidence exercises in the chat box. If you can download that, it's going to be useful in the breakout sessions. And then you're going to spend time individually working on 2 exercises. Now, the first exercise is going to ask you to choose an area of your work or life that you would like more confidence in. And then you're going to identify 1 to 3 beliefs that you have about this area. So preferably negative beliefs. And then in the second stage, you're going to reframe those beliefs into a positive, proactive statement. And so just some tips on this. If you haven't done it before, I actually recommend, asking people in the room to help you out. We have a lot of brains on this call, a lot of really smart people, but try to avoid universal or harsh language in the positive statement. So I never, or I can't, or I'm not good enough, etc. I'm never good enough. That type of language is very negative and not proactive. Try to let go of previous judgments and being able to tell the future in a negative way. Challenge all of your underlying beliefs and ask yourself, with a negative belief, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And so take a negative statement like, I will never, I can't speak publicly, and change that to a proactive statement. I am really excited to learn and expose myself to opportunities where I can speak publicly in the next couple of months. So figure out a way that you can take your negative beliefs and restate them in a positive way. And so after you spend just about 5 or so minutes on the first 2 exercises, you can share those with each other. Spend about 5 minutes doing the work, 5 minutes sharing. If there's time, you can move on to the next exercise. If not, we can just do this as a take-home assignment. The third exercise is to make a commitment to the reframed belief, or the beliefs that you identify. So whatever that commitment is, you can choose one way to build greater skills. So listening to a podcast, reading a book, checking out an article, whatever that might be. And then identifying one person that you can actually learn from. So someone that might be, even if you don't know an exact person, maybe a job title or an industry. And then you can even use that as your commitment, make a commitment to contact that person and interview them or have a conversation with them. Daniela, you say you don't see the document. The document actually goes through these exercises. If you're on your phone, if you dialed in, you might not see it in the chat. It should be in the chat. I will also send the questions through the messenger as well. So you have them. Oh, you got it. Okay, awesome. I'll send them as a message to everyone after we break out. So we're just gonna take 10 minutes. We're just gonna take 10 minutes to do this. We're running a little bit short on time. And I'm gonna open the breakout rooms right now. Please have a ton of fun. Does anyone have any questions, by the way? And you will be automatically sent to the breakout rooms, so you don't have to dial in to enter them. Any questions? And Stephanie, I'll side message you. Okay, here we go. Have a lot of fun, everyone. 10 minutes is on the timer. And here we go. So please join the breakout rooms. Hello, everyone. As you filter back in, welcome back, welcome back. So there might not have been enough time to make a commitment to the reframed belief or to choose one way to build greater skills, but to identify one person. But please, 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 right after this workshop, we have a few minutes left, take some time to finish this exercise up. And to everyone that was experiencing any sort of technical difficulties, I will be emailing the PowerPoint to the email that you registered on, as well as be providing the recording of this event to all of you. I'm also available to answer any questions. Would anyone like to share anything that came up for them during the exercises? You can use the chat box. You can unmute. Overall, does anyone have any questions from today? Any lingering thoughts about confidence that they'd like to share? This is your opportunity to literally ask anything. It is going to be a struggle. That is for sure. Thank you for being open about that in the chat. Confidence, if it's a feeling, it's a commitment, it's a skill, it's a belief, those take time. It is a process. Thank you, Philip, for sharing the idea of reframing and how it can be powerful and how it can put things in a positive light. And very often we just accept things for how they feel and don't really examine them for how we want them to be, how we should start perceiving them to assist us and help launch us forward. It does take some practice for sure. People tend to ask me, Ben, you're so positive. How are you so positive? And I'm like, it's not that I'm positive. Trust me, I'm not positive. I have my share of negativity. But when things happen, I automatically frame them in a way that is solution oriented. Oh, this happened. This sucks. But what can I do now? So solution and action oriented. And that really focuses on what I can control. And some people see that as being positive. Some people see that as being confident. I just see that as making the most out of life. Yeah, it does become a habit. Jay says, I feel like confidence stems from taking the risk to be in the situations we expect ourselves to lack confidence in. For him, he's found it easier to be in the moment than suffer in avoidance of it. Yes. And so often we actually think that things are going to be so much more worse than they are. Like, we're really bad at predicting how bad something is going to be. And sometimes it helps to sit and say, what's the worst that can happen to me at this event? Okay, that's not so bad. What's the best that can happen? And like really go for the best. And like literally in any event, in any situation, you can meet someone that changes your life. So why not? And if you can frame it like that, what does that mean for how you take action? Thank you so much, everyone. I want to really respect your time. It is 7:30. I will be sending these slides to the email address that you registered for a ticket at. If you did not register for a ticket and you got the Zoom link, then send me a private message right now with your email and I'll make sure you get these slides I will also be including the recording in that follow-up email if you wanted to rewatch anything or listen to things. I mean, sometimes it really helps to re-listen to things. The more you listen to something, the more truth that it has to you. If you're interested in coaching, because I do coach others in the area of career, clarity, confidence, control, fulfillment, value-aligned work, etc., you can schedule a call. All this information will be in the follow-up email. You can even stick around if you have specific questions. And you can always find out more information about me at liveforyourselfconsulting.com. And please connect with me on LinkedIn, Dr. Benjamin Ritter. Send me a message. Let's have a conversation. I'll send you more information. You can send me information about your life. And let's build a relationship, because if you're willing to invest time this whole, this evening on listening to me talk, I really want to know you a little bit better. So please reach out. And I do know, yeah, and the closed captioning is pretty funny. But someone reached out to me today and basically said, how inclusive is this event? What if someone has an issue with hearing? And I said, well, what solutions can I actually implement? And they provided some, and I found one that worked. And not all the words are correct, but I do really enjoy the idea that my events can be more inclusive. So thank you, everyone. I will stick around to answer one-on-one questions if you have them, or to talk a little bit about coaching programs. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I really, really do hope you stay in touch, that you live more confidently, and most importantly, live for yourself.